Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library. Disney's Aladdin, brought to you by Disney. The 90s brought about what was known as the Disney Renaissance, a period of incredibly well-received and memorable animated movies, beginning with Little Mermaid and ending with Tarzan. And right in the middle of it came one of the most memorable and well-received of them all, Aladdin. Featuring fantastic music, a great story, striking visuals, and of course the late, great Robin Williams as the genie, Aladdin became the highest-grossing movie of 1992. It's also one of my personal favorite animated movies, between the setting, the catchy music, and Robin's amazing performance. And of course, it had a bunch of games made, and that's where things get extra interesting. Disney's Aladdin was released on both Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. However, unlike a lot of games in this situation, these two games were completely different. Although they were both platformers, the SNES game was made by Capcom, designed by the legendary Shinji Mikami, while the Genesis release was handled by Virgin Interactive, designed by David Perry, who also made Earthworm Jim. It's not often you have two games based on the same franchise for two different systems, and debates rage on to this day as to which one was better. I personally vote for the Genesis version, which incidentally is what the Game Boy version is based on, but that might be nostalgia bias, as I had it as a kid and played it all the time, becoming one of my main comfort games on the Genesis. The cover is surprising, but in a good way. It's a nice action shot of Aladdin, Abu, and their carpet with no genie in sight. That actually abides by Robin Williams' desire to not be part of the advertising. Seriously, look up the story behind Disney completely ignoring his marketing requests. It's kind of insane. How did this classic scale down? Let me take you on a whole new world with Disney's Aladdin. Ooh, we are just straight into the music. Hey, Genie. Wait a sec. Ooh, I hope that wasn't a sign. Enhanced for the Super Game Boy. Oh, I will have to look into what enhancements are made. Disney's Aladdin. Ah, this music is lovely. Alright. Let's see how it goes. Whoa, the scarab. In Agrabah, a faraway land of wind and sand, a young street rat named Aladdin must steal to survive. Magic lamp, cave of wonders, all that. Hey, it's me! Jafar, haven't you heard? I cannot do his voice without my throat hurting. Well, the graphics look alright. But let's jump into the actual gameplay. Agrabah Market. Oh no, the telltale line! Oh no, it was what I saw. Okay, do you see that white outline around Aladdin? That is very telltale. It happens, like, for some Game Boy games. I'm not sure why, but it's usually a sign that the game isn't going to be very good. Like it happened in some of the Indiana Jones games, too. Alright, anyway, let's figure this out. Camel, this should bounce me. Kinda. Oh, it is so slow. But weirdly enough, although it's slow, it still controls pretty well. Which is kind of different. Why did that guy just explode? Okay, so you hit select to choose between apples and sword. Got it. Let's go. So, I mean, other than the dreaded telltale line, this really doesn't look that bad. And again, weirdly enough, despite how slow it is, it's playing alright. I can't help but feel we're stuck. Music's pretty good, too. Okay, I don't know where I'm going, so I'm just gonna keep running to the right until, I beat the level. Right, the lamp on the bottom is my health bar. Oh, weird, you just kind of stop in midair if you start falling too far. Okay, I could use some, maybe that was health? Oh, I died. Oh no, that was a, checkpoint. Cool. I think this is based, like, the level specifically is very much a remake of the Genesis version, I think. But the problem is, one, I don't know if it's a perfect remake, so I don't remember all the details, and two, it's been like 15 years since I've last played the Genesis version. It seems very difficult to avoid getting hit. Oh, the lamp destroys all the enemies. Okay. Is this the end? I think this is the end. I gotta say, even with the dreaded Telltale line, I'm actually enjoying the graphics. Baba. Hooray. Okay, let's just skip ahead. Oh, right. Yeah, this is pretty much directly following the Genesis version. Oh. I'm actually a bit impressed with this game, believe it or not. As soon as I saw the graphics at first, I was like, oh, this is not going to be very good. But as I'm playing it, they've actually done a pretty good job converting the Genesis version. Now, obviously, it's not as good. One of the things that made the Genesis version so memorable is its kind of incredible graphics for the time. And, of course, this game can't expect to come close to that. But it does look pretty good. And even though it had some slowdown, it's not as bad as it could be. I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I mean it. I'll just walk across the spot. Oh, God. And then Iago pecked Aladdin to death, just like in the movie. Would that say? Oh, find the scarab, right. Yeah, the game actually follows the plot of the movie surprisingly well, and does so with genuinely interesting and varied gameplay, all centered around platforming. There are some things that mix up the formula. There's the dreaded lava level, where you have to escape on the carpet, and it gives you, like, no time. But, given what this is and what it could have been, I don't know, I'm really liking this. There's something very nostalgic and charming about this. Now, obviously, some of that might be because I grew up with this game, and it's a, you know, even with its flaws, it's a childhood favorite. The Genesis version. Oh, there it is. Whoa. But sometimes nostalgia can be enough. I know this music's getting me all wistful and contemplative. Goodbye. It's getting me all wistful and contemplative to that part where the genie killed a bunch of guys. Aw, that game made me feel all warm and fuzzy. As you would expect, the Game Boy doesn't have the power to recreate the original game, which was one of the best looking games on the system. But even with some downgrades, there was something about this game that really clicked with me, both due to objective and subjective reasons. The game in general played well. Despite some major slowdown at times, I could still control the game just fine, which is kinda rare for games that lag on the Game Boy. And despite the Telltale outline, the game still had good sprite work and backgrounds, as well as really fun music that recreated some of the iconic music from the movie. So the game was pretty good, but I do have to wonder, how much of it was the game, and how much of it was just nostalgia? See, it's difficult for me to separate the objective quality of this game from my own subjective beliefs, since the original Genesis game was so near and dear to my heart. This game really speaks to the power of nostalgia. By itself, it was alright, certainly not awful, but definitely not any kind of masterpiece, and yet the fact that they were able to translate such a classic game to the Game Boy made it all the more impressive and enjoyable. So even with a few flaws, I still found myself drawn into the game, partially due to the quality, but equally due to how, well, cozy the game felt. I'm not about to claim that this game is amazing, but I still enjoyed the heck out of it, even with its flaws. This one is worth playing, but doubly so if you have a history with the classic Genesis game, as this game does everything to recapture the magic of the original. Although that does mean it will have that carpet lava level. God, that part was difficult. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm BrianJ, and I'll see you next time.